Hi students. Okay, till now we covered from modern physics, that is dual nature of matter and radiation, atoms and nuclei. So these are three topics comes under this modern physics, and also in that we have one more topic which is comes as we can study about the solids. In that only related to, that is semiconductor solids, we can be study by using that semiconductors what are the different electronic devices we can be constructed, electronic elements we can be constructed. So that part we can have in a topic that is called semiconductors. So briefly our introduction about this semiconductors, generally you can be having it is a solid material. So right, the semiconductor is a solid material. So the states of matter, you know, this solid, liquid, gas, right? So these are the states of matter. In that solid we consider that is a semiconductor. So as of now we can have the number of electronic developments, electronic devices development. That is we can call as a science and technology. What you can be say that is related to the new devices developed or constructed in small region. As of now you can be having the chip designing, or you can be having this nanotechnology. So this nanotechnology, chip designing, where you can be having the device's size will be, this goes on decreasing, functionality same. If you observe the initial conditions or initial state, or initially when you are at kids, the TV size will be very large. But nowadays you can be having the same TVs you can be see in your hand TV also, television also, hand television, or maybe very small, the mobiles. Mobile also now you can be having the just freely or very small in size. That means the functionality is same, but that can be constructed within the small area of cross section. The technology will be increased or improved. The chip designing, that is we can be having the chip designing is nothing but where you can be having the number of electronic circuits are integrated in the small region. That is what it's called as IC, integrated circuits. All these are constructed, or you can be having the new devices can be made to be getting into the field only by having the good studies and good implementation of application of solid material, that is called silicon and germanium, which are belongs to semiconductors, right? So semiconductors are the major role is taking place in the development of science and technology, especially related to electronic devices, right? So for electronic devices, the main components are used to construction or the development of the devices are semiconductors, right? So you might be having in your the capital city of Karnataka, where Bangalore, you can be having one of the colony itself where you have the all electronic companies are there, that is called Silicon Valley, right? So that much importance is there. The revolutionary changes observed in the electronic devices only when after studying about the semiconductors and their applications, and that information here you have just basic information about the semiconductors in this, but all these basics are used in the electronic devices. So who are moving towards the engineering side, this is a very important topic, but it is required for NEET also. Definitely you can get 2 questions from these for your NEET exam. For CET, if you consider, you will get nearly 5 questions. So it is very important topic, right? But it is totally theoretical, maximum theoretical initially. Don't feel it is a bore or whatever, but it is very interesting. Okay. So now we can be just getting into the semiconductors. Before that, you can have here these states of matter. So states of matter, we have the 3 types. States of matter, we have the 3 types, that is solids, liquids and gases, right? And in this that is we can be having here semiconductor is a solid material, so we can be treat or we can be considered on only solids, and these solids also classified based on certain criteria we can be considered. So now we can be considered the solids. So related to solids, so I want to go what is solid, what is liquid, what is gas. I am not telling, just solids. These solids are made, classified or categorized based on, you can be having the different criteria can be considered. Based on, you can be having the arrangement. Based on arrangement of atoms or particles. Based on arrangement of atoms. These solids are, you can be having the one of the category. What are those? You can be know in your chemistry also. That is crystalline solids. And second one you can be having it is amorphous solids. So solids are made classified into these two types. So based on which one it is, how that atoms are arranged in that particular solids, accordingly we have these two, crystalline and amorphous. And these, regarding this, I'll just give you the information. Crystalline, if you go for these crystalline solids, if you observe, and if you see next one, it is amorphous solids. So what are these and what are the properties for these? If you see the crystalline solids, the arrangement of the atoms are regular manner. The regular fashion of arrangement of the atoms takes place in that particular solid. So whatever may be the amount of the solid size, throughout its size, the particles or the atoms are arranged in regular fashion. Then we can call the type of arrangement of the atoms present in that material are known as crystalline solids, right? So here orderly arranged, atoms are arranged in order, regular arrangement. So regular arrangement. So here random arrangement. There is no regular. The atoms are arranged randomly. So they are called as amorphous solids, right? And this is the definition for both. And for this, if you observe the examples, for crystalline solids, you can be having this sugar, salt, or this wood, right? Quartz, so etc. So these are, you can be having the examples for crystalline. And amorphous, where that arrangement of atoms are not regular, they are having irregular or randomly they are arranged. There you can be observed to be having, here it is a rubber, glass, right, etc. Plastic. So that will becomes here amorphous, right? So these are the examples for both crystalline and amorphous. And second one, you can go for the observation here. For crystalline solids are called as the anisotropic solids. These are having the property called as the anisotropic in nature. These are anisotropic in nature. Anisotropic nature means what? Anisotropic represents that which will be having the property of certain physical properties of refractive index are different in different directions, like refractive index or velocity of light. If the velocity of light is propagating through these materials in different directions, they will be having the different values. That property is what is called as anisotropic nature. Certain physical quantities, what are those? Velocity of light, refractive index. So these values are different in different directions. Then you can say that property is called anisotropic, right? So these are, the second point here is, these are isotropic in nature, which represents that the physical quantities like velocity of light, refractive index, and thermal, the conductivity, the type of properties are same in all directions. In case of these amorphous solids, this property is isotropic in nature, represents that the physical quantities like refractive index, velocity of light, thermal conductivity, that properties are remain same in all directions. Then we can say it is isotropic in nature. And third one, these crystalline solids are having, these are having the sharp melting points. That means the bond strengths between any two atoms will be remain same, or molecules will be remain same. Each and every bond is having the same strength. So because of that, at a particular temperature, all bonds will be gets ruptured and it will be converted to state. That is melting. Sharp melting points are present for which one? Crystalline. But whereas here it is, there is no sharp melting points because they are having the bond strengths are different in different directions. The bond strength, because they are not regularly arranged, so the bond length is different and strength also different. So at different temperatures they will be break down, not at a particular temperature, because of that amorphous solids are not having sharp melting points, right? So here you can put these crystalline solids having the sharp melting points, but whereas here it is no sharp melting points, okay, that you can be observed for these amorphous solids. So this is only some information related to solids. This might be observed in your chemistry part also somewhat very well. So just I am given one of the classification for the solids based on the arrangement, right? But this is not required for us. Our requirement is semiconductors. There is one more classification is there for the solids based on electrical conductivity properties. How that solids can be having the property of conduction of electricity, that is the flow of current can be how it is passing through the given solid materials. Accordingly, the solids can be classified. So that classification we required. So now I tell you that one. That is, solids are classified based on electrical conductivity properties. So that is, we have here it is. So here solids are classified based on it is classified. Which one? It is based on electrical conductivity properties. Electrical conductivity properties. Based on electrical conductivity properties, we can be having these solids are classified into three. They are conductors, semiconductors, and insulators. Third one, insulators. Right. So these are the three types of solids are exist or we have based on the electrical conductivity properties. Based on these electrical conductivity properties, these solids are made classified into these three: conductors, semiconductors, and insulators. So now just I'll give some brief information about these conductors. So conductors are the solid material which are having the property of allowing the flow of current from them. They are ready to allow the flow of current, right? They are having the free electrons are exist. Always that materials are, that conductors are, the solid materials are having free electrons, free charges are exist. Because of that they are always allowing the flow of current from them. They are called conductors, right? So here these conductors are having the free charges or free electrons are there. Free electrons are there and allows current. So this is what it is called as a conductor, right? And for this you can be having the all metals. You can be say iron, copper, gold, graphite. So all these lead, number of all metals you can be say. All metals are examples for these conductors. And earth is also very good conductor, right? Earth or any living plant or maybe this wet wood. So all these you can be observed to be having the behaves like a conductor. Our body also very good conductor, right? If you want to check about our body is good conductor or not, you just put your finger into your switchboard and make it on, whether it will passing from your body or not. Don't do this, but it will be very good conductor, right? So this is what you can be having the regarding conductors, right? Similarly, insulators are the solid materials which does not allow the flow of current from them. They are not allowing, that property is there. So that type of solid materials are called as insulators, right? So here we can be called, these are does not allow current, does not allow current are called as insulators, right? So examples you can be say rubber, plastic, mica, and also these dry wood. It won't be allowed. The wood which is made dried out, not a wet one. It is a dry wood, right? So all these are very bad conductors of current, which are known as insulators, right? So for these insulators, you can write a plastic, glass, rubber, mica, etc. So all these are not allowing the flow of current from them. So they are called as insulators. And our requirement, our study is related to which one? That is semiconductors. So semiconductors are having the property of allowing sometimes flow of current, and sometimes it does not allow the current. That means it has the electrical properties in between conductors and insulators. The electrical conductivity properties of solids are existing in between conductors and insulators are known as semiconductors, right? So don't think that a semicircle, half of the circle, semiconductor, half of the conductor. It is not like that. Semiconductor means here having the electrical conductivity properties in between conductors and insulators. We can call them as semiconductors, right? So semiconductors are the solid materials which are having the electrical conductivity properties existing in between conductors and insulators, and these semiconductors are having, our examples are, you can be having here, it is germanium and silicon. Germanium and silicon, GESI, germanium and silicon are the examples for semiconductors, right? And I given examples for conductors, all metals. Examples for insulators, I given these, right? That is plastic, glass, rubber, and mica, etc. They are not alloying. These are alloying. These are sometimes allowing, sometimes does not allow. And here we can see some other important one is conductors are having. The conductors are having, when the temperature changes or increases or decreases, then how these are allowed to observe, or how they can be behaves, right? So that is, we can simple observation here. You can be having here, it is conductors, it is semiconductors, and insulators, right? And here I say conductors are allows current, allows. These are having the electrical properties between these two. These are does not allows, does not allow current, and this will be allows current, allows current. And here semiconductors sometimes allows, sometimes does not allow, depends upon the temperature, right? Depends upon the free charges. So it is sometimes allows and other times does not, other times does not. So I will tell which time it will be allows, which time it does not allow, but as of now just remember this simple observation related to this. This is the first one. So examples I said, here you can be say the metals, you can write non-metals are there, examples I am writing some, all metals you can write here, and these are germanium and silicon, and here you can write it is plastic, rubber, mica, so etc. are the examples for these insulators. And now these conductors are having, there is a temperature dependence of all these. When you are increasing the temperature or decrease the temperature, whether they are allowing the current or not, how that electrical conductivity properties changes. So that is here, the resistance of the conductors will be goes on increases by increasing the temperature. Temperature increases, resistance also increases, which is called as a temperature coefficient of resistance. Temperature coefficient of resistance. Like in your thermal properties of matter, you can be having the alpha. What you can write? Change in length by initial length into rise in temperature. This is called as the coefficient of linear expansion. Coefficient of linear expansion. Same way, I can write here alpha is equal to change in resistance by initial resistance into rise in temperature. So this alpha is called as a temperature coefficient of resistance. Variation of resistance with the temperature, which is called as a temperature coefficient of resistance. So this value, the temperature coefficient of resistance is positive for conductors, because when the temperature increases, the resistance also increases. Therefore, you can be observed to be having it is what you can be seeing here. You can be observed this alpha also increases. So here alpha is a positive. That is temperature coefficient of resistance of conductors is a positive, which represents that resistance is increasing by increasing the temperature. So conductivity decreases, right? So that is here alpha, or I am writing here temperature coefficient. Temperature coefficient alpha is positive here. But whereas if you coming into these two, that is semiconductors and insulators, if you observe, the temperature coefficient alpha is here, it is a negative, here also it is negative, which represents that whenever you are increasing the temperature for semiconductors, its conductivity will be increases, resistivity is decreases. That means the temperature coefficient of resistance is decreasing. Decreasing means here initial minus final. Final value is it is that means general change means final minus initial. Final value is less compared to initial, means you will get the value is negative. Negative represent is decreasing. Right? With increasing the temperature, that resistance will be decreases. Because of that, you can be saying here it is this alpha value is negative for semiconductors as well as for insulators also. Right? Here you can write alpha is negative. Here also alpha is negative. Right? So temperature coefficient of resistance for conductors, it is positive, but whereas for these two it will be negative. That is, the conductivity increases. So why it is decreasing here, that conductivity by increasing the temperature? Why only here the conductivity increase by increasing the temperature? Because only small difference, that is, you can be observed here. When you increase the temperature for these conductors, the free charges which are moves randomly in all possible directions, they made collision. Once they made collision, their mean or their free path or that flow will be, the velocity for or the speed of the charge particles will be decreases, the flow will be decreases, so that you can be get the low current or low conduction. The conductivity will be, or conduction will be decreases by increasing the temperature for conductors. Because of that, we can be having a positive temperature coefficient of resistance for conductors. But coming to this one here, semiconductors and these insulators, where you can be increase the temperature, there you can be observed that some of the electrons are, that means getting free. The valence electrons will be getting to free. It will be increases the conduction property, not increasing the collisions between them and allowing them to make more conduction. So you are getting the free charges are more when you are increasing the temperature for this one and these. Right? So because of that, so already these are insulators, they are not allowing. But even though you are increases, but little bit it will changes in its resistance. But whereas here semiconductor is changes its conductivity properties by changing its temperature. Right? So here we have the negative temperature coefficient of resistance. Yes, temperature increases, resistance decreases, and conductivity increases for semiconductors. Right? So this is a observation related to what are the conductors, semiconductors, and insulators. Right? So the main explanation we required only related to semiconductors, because that is our topic. Our topic is only semiconductors. Right? Just I introduce this topic of semiconductors. We'll getting into further explanation about the semiconductor, what is semiconductor, what are the types of semiconductors. So that type of explanation we have. So we'll getting into that in the next video. Right? Okay, see you. Signing off.